All right. Happy Sunday evening, all you magnificent melon heads. No warning here. We're just doing a spur of the moment live stream because we've got the commodity markets have just opened. And with all the news, with Russia being kicked out of the SWIFT system, or at least key Russian banks being kicked out of the SWIFT system, and then today I'm finding out that the Russian central bank has also been sanctioned. That's a big one, the central bank getting sanctioned. That's huge. So we don't know what is going to go on in markets over the next few days. Anybody who tells you they know what's going to go on in markets over the next few days is trying to sell you something, or I don't know, because this is unprecedented. To my knowledge, there's never been anything like this that has happened. And I'm seeing a lot of nightmare scenarios in some of the commentary that's out there right now. And I'll be honest with you, folks. I want to be upfront with you about my qualifications and my limitations. All right. A lot of this goes beyond me here, okay? We're talking about the inner workings of the global banking system. And again, I always try to wear it on my sleeve. I'm nobody special, right? I have no formal background in finance. So there's really no telling what's going to go on here right now, all right? And now there's some really highly educated, knowledgeable types that are out there trying to say this will happen or that'll happen. Nobody knows, all right? So first of all, hello, everybody. Thank you to everybody who joined on the fly for this live stream. I see a couple of familiar faces. I am going to dispense with the hellos, however, because it is now 6:01 p.m. We're going to shrink my big, fat melon of a head and take a look at what's going on in commodities markets with, again, probably going to get some movement today, and I'm seeing quite a bit of green right now. Looks like some commodities are heading higher. Gold right now is up almost 2%. Silver up 2.2%. Now, silver had a rough or a pretty volatile week, broke out above its 200-day line. The banks came in, smashed it right back down. Now it looks like we're back above that 200 line. So, this situation with everything going on with the bullion banks and with the Russian banks being kicked out of SWIFT and the flight to safety that I'm guessing is going to happen now. I think we're going to see a flight to safety tomorrow. That should be rocket fuel for gold and silver, especially if you consider the Russians have now been frozen out of the banking system. So Russia can't really access their foreign exchange reserves. They do hold a lot of dollars, supposedly, even though they sold other U.S. treasuries. I read something that said Russia actually secretly does still have a lot of dollar holdings. Well, they can't access any of that anymore. But what they do have is a lot of gold. So that's interesting. I don't know what this is going to do to gold markets because Russia is a big player in gold. And right now, gold is up 2%. All right, so moving on, let's see what we've got. Platinum and palladium, wow, up 7.4% right now. Somebody had asked a question about palladium on my live stream on Friday. So honestly, I don't know enough about the palladium market to be able to comment on why that is up 7.4% right now. But platinum's also making nearly a 2% move. So the PJM metals are liking this news. Crude oil up $6 a barrel right now at $97, now $98. Wow, crude oil is running. I guess that's to be expected. Russia supplies about 12% of global oil. It's about 7% of United States oil. So any way you look at it, folks, this is sending oil higher. I hope by now most of you melon heads have filled up your gas tanks. If I know you melon heads, I'm betting most of you filled up your tanks. If you haven't, either go do it tonight or do it first thing tomorrow morning because gas is going higher, folks. Gasoline is going to be more expensive. Right, I filled up both my vehicles this weekend and some of my gas cans. Moving on, natural gas, U.S. natural gas down 3% right now. That's Henry Hub. That's interesting. Did not expect to see U.S. gas down. That is quite interesting, but I don't see it moving a lot. It's possible the gas. Oh, I see. This is yesterday's or this is last week's information. Natural gas is not trading yet. I just noticed the timestamp here. That's still based on Friday's numbers. All right, coming down here, soybeans, still no updates. Looks like soybean oil is up, soybean meal is up, but all the rest are still going on Friday's numbers. So it looks like with the exception of copper, everything that's trading right now is trading higher. Interesting that copper would be going lower. Okay, here we go. Now we've got an update for natural gas. Natural gas is up 6.8%. Is that correct? No, I'm sorry. Natural gas is up 4%. That's Henry Hub, about 17 cents. Heating oil up 5.5. Gasoline up 4.9. Anything else start moving yet? Nope. Let's check out the Dutch TTF natural gas. I don't know if those are going to start trading just yet. I just don't know enough about that market. Nope, that is still not moved. Still showing Friday's number. We'll keep an eye on that. I'm not sure that's going to change. But right now, folks, commodities heading a lot higher, it seems, almost across the board. Trading's only been going on for a couple of minutes. Let's keep an eye on that silver one. That's my favorite here. I have the silver chart up already. Again, nice big gap up right now. This is a 1-month chart of silver. You can see we had a pretty volatile week, and it came right back down. Now trading about 24.68. Gold, big gap up just at the open here at 1925. That 1900 level has been key, and it had broken down. Again, we had a lot of paper, gold and silver was dumped on the markets. I guess that was on Thursday, shortly after the war had officially begun. Well, right now that's back up. Is this going to be the event that breaks the bullion banks' paper stranglehold on precious metal prices? I don't know. Could be. Oh my goodness, I just saw we've got the economic ninja in the chat. Hello, ninja. Crazy times indeed. The Fed will try to smack gold down to hurt Russia. That's interesting, ninja. I like that thought. I like where you're head there, because right now higher gold prices is good for Russia. Right? Russia's got a lot of gold. I've heard people suspect that, or theorize, hypothesize, that Russia is going to put a gold backing on the ruble, which, by the way, we'll get to the ruble. I saw something in Zero Hedge today that said some banks were unofficially marking down the ruble almost 50% just this weekend. And check this out on Twitter, folks. It looks like this is a queue. I have no way of confirming this, but I've seen this video a number of times. But it looks like this is people queuing up for an ATM. It looks like we've got a bank run in progress in Russia, and it makes sense, right? If you're in Russia right now, are you going to sit around and wait for the banks to fail? So we could be looking at a banking crisis. Well, we're almost certainly looking at a banking crisis in Russia. Will that spread to other banks? I don't know. Remember, folks, Russia's cut off from the system. So let's say you're a European bank and you hold a lot of Russian assets, which hopefully by now you've divested your Russian assets if you're a European bank. But they're not always the smartest, are they? They seem pretty smart. They tell you they're smart. But, well, now basically all that Russian sovereign debt goes into default because they won't be making any interest payments. They can't make any interest payments. They've been cut off from the global financial system. So all that Russian debt gets marked down to zero. Now, we don't know what that's going to do to the European banks, because the European banks are very highly levered, right? Most European banks, they're book to GDP. They can't take more than a 1 or a 2% hit to their books without basically wiping out the whole market cap of the bank. So if this does spread beyond Russia, look for those European banks. They'll be the first ones to show it. I see a lot of other folks in the chat right now. I see Mr. Neil Hahn is there as always. Neil is usually the first one in the chat. I see Economic Ninja says, my county has the highest gas in the country, no joke. And it did that in 2008 as well. That's very interesting. Yeah, I know, Ninja, you're out in California. You got some expensive gas out there. We have pretty high gas prices in PA. I just paid $3.82 a gallon here in Pennsylvania. That's pretty high. Again, in California, you guys probably sneezed at that number, but gas prices are going higher from here, folks. I see Barb G. Hello, Dr. Deanna Berman and Dumb Money Media. My man is in the chat. Hello, sir. The Economic Ninja. I'm finally leaving California for Arizona. Good luck with your move to Arizona, Mr. Dumb Money Media, sir. I know a guy who lives out in the Scottsdale, Phoenix area, and he loves it out there. Absolutely loves it, although it's tough in the summertime, but it's an up-and-coming area. The national gas price will probably hit $6 by July. Oh, my goodness. Ninja, you're probably right about that. And, man, that's scary, $6 by July. Yikes, brother, yikes. All right, what else we got here? Dumb Money Media, thank you for the super, sir. He says, I've been pulling cash nonstop from the bank. Mr. Conrad, sir, I hope you don't mind me using your name. That is excellent, excellent advice, folks. I'm not going to advocate a bank run, but hopefully you've got a little bit of paper currency available to you at home, just enough to buy essentials if need be, because we don't know if there is. First of all, Russia likes to play cyber games. They like to hack. We've had Klaus Schwab, the living, breathing caricature of a James Bond villain who has talked about we will crush the banking system. He's been talking about cyber hacks and attacks and everything, bracing for almost as if to invite it to happen. So have a little bit of cash at home, folks. Have a little bit of cash on the side. Not a bad idea. Good advice, Dumb Money Media. And again, thank you, sir, for the super chat. And Jeff Prince, thank you very much for your super chat as well. And I got my little pear-shaped "You Are Amazing" going on there. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you very much. And welcome to the channel, sir. All right, I've got a lot going on here. Hello, Tom Stencil, my original, the OG of my Patreon supporters. Tom Stencil was my very first Patreon supporter, so we always remember that one. All right, I have, let's see, we got a lot of... Is gas going to pull uranium up with it, says 451 credit. I think uranium's headed higher. I don't follow uranium markets all that closely, 451, but I know Ukraine is a big supplier of uranium. Okay, so that's obviously going to be disrupted now. And look, folks, it's time for the world to start building more nuclear power plants. We can't rely on Russian natural gas for our power, all right? I mean, obviously, that is now a thing. Now, I saw Germany announce they're going to try to very quickly build some liquefied natural gas import terminals to try to open up other options for gas flows. But it's time to reverse this anti-nuclear nonsense, all right? Modern nuclear technology has come a long way since these dinosaur reactors that were designed and built in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So it's time to roll out that technology. Moving on, Jack, there are a number of gas stations around KOP, that's King of Prussia, that broke $4 yesterday, just paid $3.89. Wow, Michael, I guess you're in my neck of the woods. Yeah, gas is going higher, folks. I think $4, we might see $4 this week. All right, I mean, let's go back. Let's bring up the board again. Let's see what we've got going on in commodities right now, because this is a very fast-moving situation. Okay, looks like they're pulling back in a little bit. Gold 1.66% up. Silver is up 2%, up 49 cents now at 24.68. Copper still down just a tick. Palladium's now up 6%. Platinum up 1%. Crude is up 5.49. That's WTI is at 97.42. I think $100 oil is all but certain now. Natural gas up 11 cents. Heating oil and gasoline both up about 4.5% respectively. And still the farm commodities are not showing as trading on here, but folks, food prices are going to be going higher also. That's definitely a thing now. I've been talking a lot on this channel about food prices and food inflation. I actually just did some filming today. I did a video about trying to get a 1-month supply of emergency food for as cheaply as possible. I went to the supermarket. I did some math, figured out how many calories and how much protein I'd need for my family for a month in an emergency situation. So I'll be editing and putting that video together over the next couple of days. But look, food prices are going higher, folks. Food prices were going higher anyway before all this started. And Ukraine is the 3rd or 4th largest exporter of grain in the world, mainly wheat, but also corn. So, folks, this is going to cause a huge problem. Also, you've got, the Russian Navy is targeting merchant shipping in the Black Sea. So even the stuff that's already been harvested and is already ready for export, I can't imagine there's many merchant mariners are, lining up right now to sail into the Black Sea with this going on. So this is, you take all your pre-existing supply chain problems and you throw this on top of it, folks, inflation's getting worse. Inflation's getting a lot worse. All right. Now, you may notice that right now today's Wi-Fi password has been changed to hyper. All right. Now, that is not to be hyperbolic here or anything like that. But remember, we have right now, before this mess started, we had the highest inflation in 40 years. All right, at 7.5%. If you buy the BS numbers, really inflation is somewhere around 15%. If you go by consistently, what is it, shadowstats.com is where they calculate inflation using the same math they used to use in the 70s. We're as high as the inflation was in the 70s, and that was before the war broke out. All right, this is going to get a lot worse, this inflation. Now, here's the thing. If we get a banking crisis that spirals out of this Russian sanction thing, if the problem, the run on Russian banks, spreads to European or to Asian banks, or if European banks take such high losses from being cut off from their Russian assets that we get some kind of a liquidity crisis in the European banks, all right? Again, nobody knows what's going to happen here because this has never happened. This is unprecedented. So if all these things happen and we get some kind of a liquidity event, well, remember, we've got the Federal Reserve right now is all lined up and all set and all geared up to fight inflation. What happens if they have to put those plans on hold and start pumping liquidity into the markets again? This could cause them to turn on their printing press again. I don't think they'll do that. All right. I know they don't want to do that. Okay. But they may be forced to do that. Now, if they're forced to do that, now you're talking a major, major crisis of confidence in the Federal Reserve's ability to fight inflation. All right. Think about most people right now still think they have this under control. I don't know why, after being told it was transitory for 2 years. For whatever reason, John and Jane Q. Public still believe the Fed has inflation under control. What happens if instead of fighting inflation like they've been telling us, they start pumping out money again? That's going to cause people to say, oh my God, this inflation is going to be out of control. I better dump my dollars and buy whatever I can while I still can with these dollars. That's when you get von Mises crack up boom. That's when you get hyperinflation. All right. So if this situation with the Russian banks being cut off from the banking system causes some kind of a bank run or some kind of a liquidity crisis in Russia or in Europe and it spreads to the States, it's going to cause the Fed to act as the lender of last resort to start pumping in cash, and that could cause the American public to lose faith in the Federal Reserve's ability to control this inflation. And that's when we go from inflation to hyperinflation. And throw on top of that gas prices and food prices heading higher. This is economically, this is a very dangerous situation. This is a tinderbox, okay? Just want to paint that picture for you. Again, I'm trying not to be too fuddy here and too chicken little, sky is falling, all right? And folks, if you give me some good news, I'd be happy to tell you. I'd be happy to talk all about all the good news. But I don't have much good news right now. That guy, Joe Daddy, thank you, sir, very much for the super chat and for the support of the channel. He says NASDAQ futures way down. Thank you for pointing that out, that guy, Joe Daddy, and for your support of the channel, because I have not yet shown the stock futures. I am remiss. Let's see what we got. Refreshing the page. It's probably going to give me a pop-up. There it is. All right. Oh, yeah. We are looking at the US 30. That's the Dow. Looks like set to open down 1.4% right now. US 500, that would be your S&P futures, are set to open down 2.4% right now. And Tech 100, that's your NASDAQ. Look at the NASDAQ, set to open down 2.72% right now. So, yep, stocks not liking this news. That's not a big surprise. And I would expect tech to take the bigger hit. Now, there's one more thing I want to throw out there, folks. Sunday night is a period of very low liquidity in futures and in commodities. All right, there's not a lot of trading going on right now, so you tend to get more volatility. All right, if we have a big move tonight, that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to close anywhere near there tomorrow. The move could get bigger tomorrow, or we could get another one of these wacky market days where for no reason or who knows what, markets just suddenly flip, reverse, and all go higher, right? That could happen, all right? So I've been mentioning for a couple of days now that I'm not trading on these wild days, that I set my trades, and then I just sit back and I watch. I try not to get caught up in the algorithms trading back and forth. On Friday, I added to my position in ERX, and I added to my position in the corn ETF, because after I saw that big reversal Thursday, I said, no way. And I talked all about it in my live stream on Friday, saying how Russia was definitely going to get kicked out of the SWIFT system, that there was too much public demand for it, that even the leaders who really didn't want to do it for financial reasons, that they're going to be forced to do it. And that's exactly what they've done now. Now, I've heard there's these carve-outs that, maybe key Russian banks were sanctioned, but maybe certain other ones weren't sanctioned, and there may still be a way for them to get the gas out or to get the oil out. I don't know enough about it, to be honest with you, to be able to tell you one way or another. Based on the commodities reaction right now, it's looking like it's going to be pretty hard for Russia to sell their gas and oil to the West. They'll probably still sell it to China, but it's off limits for our markets for the time being, it looks like. Thanks again, that guy, that guy, Joe Daddy, for the super chat and for reminding me to check the stock futures. I appreciate that. And the King of Money, Mr. Dumb Money Media, sir, thank you. He says, I've been grabbing canned tuna off Amazon. I didn't realize I accumulated 700 cans. That's a lot of tuna, brother. Also, protein powder, pretty much anything with some shelf life. And shelf life, you hit the nail on the head there, Dumb Money Media. And thank you for the support of the channel. Please, folks, if you're buying an emergency food supply, pay attention to shelf life. All right, try to stock up on things that you're going to eat anyway, things that are part of your normal diet, maybe things that have a little bit of a longer shelf life, because then really all it is an inflation hedge. All you've done is you've pulled forward some of your food spend, right? So you're hedging against inflation. You're not spending extra money on stuff that's going to rot on the shelf and end up in your garbage can. All right, so I don't know what the shelf life is on 700 cans of tuna, but you're going to be eating a lot of tuna, brother. But, hey, that's rich in protein and all that good fat and omega-3s and all that good stuff. So also watch your, what is it, mercury or iodine? Watch those. There's some nasty stuff in some of that canned tuna. So everything in moderation. Me, I loaded up on white rice and dried beans. A couple of different dried beans like lentils, kidney beans, black beans, and there was one other one I forget off the top of my head. But I was going for calories and I was going for protein. And my mother-in-law is coming to visit me soon. And my mother-in-law makes the finest Puerto Rican food in the world. And, man, she loves to cook rice and beans, and I just love to eat it. So I bought all stuff that I would eat anyway. I just bought a metric crap ton of it. So, and, you know, if you store it right, you get like a 25-year shelf life on that stuff. So it didn't really cost me anything, I guess is the point I'm making. If I don't throw it out, if I eat it anyway, and I don't need to make any like big lifestyle adjustment to accommodate it, you haven't really spent any money. So thank you again, Dumb Money Media, for the support of the channel and for bringing up shelf life. That is very important. So we talked about it, folks. Prepare yourselves, right? Fill up those gas tanks. If you got some gas cans, fill them up. A little bit of extra food. Pay attention to your shelf life. Definitely not a bad idea to stock up on a little bit of extra food. I mean, look, the 2020s are just getting started. We're only 2 years into this lousy decade. I'm sure 2023 is going to be awesome, right? Right? 2023 is going to be awesome. I don't know. And what was the other one? A little bit of cash on the side also. Have a little bit of cash. That I need to do. I've got my physical metals, but I do not have my stockpile of cash on the side. I need to take care of that. That's on my list, but I'm not expecting an imminent bank run in the United States. Knock on wood. I just jinxed it, didn't I, when I said that? All right. Let's see. Let's take one more look at the commodities. See where we're at right now. All right. Gold. Looks like gold is giving back some of its gains, now up a little under 1%. Silver also giving back some of those gains at 1.8. Copper is now even. Platinum and palladium also giving back gains. So it seems like we've had that initial reaction, and the trend seems to be everything's pulling back a little bit. It's not to say we're going to give away all those gains. Market's just catching its breath. That's to be expected. Same thing goes with natural gas and with gasoline. But still, nothing is down. Nothing is down right now. And let's accept stock futures, of course. Looking at stocks, looks like the Dow set to about lose 430 points, 1.2%. S&P set to lose almost 100 points, down 2.25%, and the Nasdaq set to drop 375, down 2.64%. So stocks, we're looking at a rough day ahead for stocks tomorrow. Again, these volatile sessions at the rate news is flowing right now. Who knows? This could reverse on a dime, all right? And when you got the algorithms are sending billions of dollars back and forth a trillion times a second, I don't like to trade on days like this, all right? I just like to sit back and watch because, man, you can get just absolutely burned if you try to take on the machines and trade on a day like this. Again, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, your own DD, arrive at a decision right for you based on your unique situation. But me, I'm staying out of it. My trades I've made, I'm in position, and I'm confident in the trades I've made and the positions I've taken. I'm just going to let them play out now. That's really what it comes down to. Now, as far as the banking crisis or the possibility of a banking crisis goes, I want to bring this up. This is the overnight reverse repurchase agreement, or the reverse repos. All right, and I've been talking about this for a while. This is the excess money in the U.S. banking system. And right now, there's about $1.6 trillion of extra liquidity in the market. All right, now, with whatever's going on in Russian banks and in European banks, it's a pretty good bet there's going to be at least some degree of financial turmoil coming this week. All right, I don't know how much it's going to be. I don't know what form that's going to take. But suffice it to say, I expect to see this trend in overnight reverse repos to drop substantially in the coming days. How fast and how far it drops is going to inform my decision making in the coming weeks. If I see this trend start racing to zero, I mean, like if we're down below 1 trillion by Friday, probably where I'm going to be thinking about starting to short the market here, because that's when it tells me, oh boy, something big is about to happen. Because if we see all this extra liquidity in the markets dry up, that means banking crisis inbound. That means the Fed is probably going to have to come save the day. And that is going to be a last resort, because I'm telling you, when the Fed has to turn on the printer, that is going to be bad, bad news for inflation, folks. And they're not going to enter into that decision lightly. They know what it means. The little credibility they have left, they have no credibility with me, with us, with the melon heads, right? But with the public, they still have some credibility. The public still thinks they have this under control. If they have to turn the printing press back on before they've even made one rate hike, all their credibility is gone, and then the public freaks out and the dollar dies. All right? So just keep that in mind. Keep an eye on this reverse repo. This is the extra money in the system. Now, as far as what's going to happen in the short term, let's bring up the MMMRI, which, if you have been following this channel for a while, you know all about the Mannarino Market Risk Indicator and my own take on it, the modified Mannarino Market Risk Indicator. Here, let's shrink my melon a little bit more so you can see. So right now it's at 149, and this is calculated based on the Dixie times the U.S. 10-year divided by 1.61 times the debt to GDP ratio. All right. My modification was to multiply it by the debt to GDP ratio. Mannarino's original indicator does not multiply by debt to GDP. So what do I expect coming out of this? I think probably this week we're going to see the Dixie head higher. All right. I think the Dixie is the strength of the dollar measured against other world currencies. I think the Dixie heads higher here because we're going to see a flight to safety. Whenever there's economic turmoil, people tend to buy a couple of things, right? They buy dollars because the dollar is the world's reserve currency. They dump things like the lira, all right, because the lira is garbage. They're certainly going to be dumping their rubles to anyone who will take it, and they're going to put that money in dollars. So that's going to drive the Dixie higher. It's also probably going to drive the U.S. 10-year Treasury yield lower because people are also going to take refuge in U.S. Treasury bonds. And when people start buying up U.S. Treasury bonds, that sends the price of the bond higher. That sends the yield on those bonds lower. So the U.S. 10-year will head lower also. So what the MMMRI does this week, I honestly couldn't tell you because I don't know if the move up in the Dixie is going to be more substantial than the move down in the 10-year yield. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. We'll see where it goes. But right now we're right on the cusp of moderate to high risk around this 150 level. We'll see where it goes from here. And real quick, I have to pay homage to the original, to the man, Mr. Mannarino, and his original indicator, and that is sitting at 119, which is well down in the moderate risk range, still well shy of high risk. So according to Mannarino's indicator, we've still got a ways to go before we get any kind of credit risk to markets. And again, with that $1.6 trillion cushion in reverse repos that's out there, it's probably right. We probably are, at least before we see that liquidity dry up. Now, I'm telling you, if we see that $1.6 trillion get sucked up in a matter of days, watch out, folks. Watch out. That is going to be a very bad, bad time for global financial markets. All right. Let's see where we're at now. Are we still selling off here? All right. We've got, looks like the sell-off. I'm not selling off. I'm sorry. Are we still running in commodities? Gold heading a little bit higher. Silver heading a little higher. Seems like commodities are getting some steam back. Here is gold at 1916 right now. Do I need to refresh this window? Yep, 1915. I prefer my candle charts. So we had that big gap up as soon as the futures started trading, it looks like the shorts are trying to defend their position here, but something tells me we're still heading significantly higher in precious metals. Same thing with silver here. Again, we had that big gap up at the open. Put my candles back on, and now we're headed back higher. Crude oil now at 97.16. That's WTI, West Texas Intermediate. Again, I think $100 oil probably in very short order. If not by tomorrow morning, I think we'll see $100 oil. And the agricultural commodities have not started trading yet, but watch those corn, wheat, and soy prices, folks, especially wheat. I think you'll see the biggest move in wheat because that is Ukraine's primary agricultural export, that along with corn. I think we're going to see big moves in global food prices, and that's bad news. That is bad news for society, for civilization, for everything. It's certainly bad news for the poor. When it gets too expensive to eat, bad things tend to happen, folks. You tend to get things like rioting. You tend to get things like civil wars break out. Governments get desperate, and it's a tough time. This decade is just getting started, folks. I hate to say it. Okay, real quick, I just want to mention, I talked a little bit about the banking situation and how it could spread to European banks or over to U.S. banks. There's this article that Tyler Durden did over at Zero Hedge talking about Zoltan Pozar's warning that this could be a Lehman Brothers moment for us. That, and again, a lot of the banking lingo here went right over my head because, again, folks, I don't have any formal background in finance. I'm not trying to oversell my qualifications here. I want to wear it on my sleeve when my own understanding is coming up short. But check out this article. It's on Zero Hedge. I'm going to comment a link to this when we're done here so you guys can go check this out. But really, there's a lot of different things, a lot of different ways this could go. Will the Russians be able to circumvent these sanctions by using gold as collateral, or by, other maybe European banks very subtly going around the sanctions and trading through intermediaries or trading through China? There's a lot of possibilities here. Nobody knows exactly how this is going to go. There is no script for this situation. All right, so I just keep an eye on that. And again, check out this link from Zoltan Pozar and what he did over there. And last but not least, I have to mention, folks, we are now just a couple of days away from the Ninja Nation Speak Freely event. And I know we had Economic Ninja in the comments a few minutes ago, and here we are again. This is starting on Friday with the VIP event. I will be there. This is in Dallas, Fort Worth on Friday and Saturday this week. You'll have myself, the Economic Ninja, Joe Brown, Bill Holter, Dave Hemke, Andy Scheckman, Chris Taylor from Financial Fitness. A whole bunch of YouTubers are going to be there. A couple of other names that we haven't announced yet that may make surprise appearances. Some people you might recognize. We're still working on that. All the things we can't say, all the things that might get us in trouble with certain Silicon Valley entities that shall remain nameless, we can say at an event like this, all right? And with everything that's going on in this world right now and with all the things that are coming, this is a good time to surround yourself with people like this, all right? I can tell you, I have learned so much since I hooked up with these guys and I started doing these events and I started, collaborating with them on YouTube. I mean, just the brain power that these guys have and the knowledge and the skill set has really helped me as an investor, certainly helped me as a YouTuber and with this channel. But I can't say enough good things about these guys. And the event that we did in Denver a couple of months ago was just fantastic. And I picked up so much and I met so many cool people. And I just think this one in Dallas is going to be every bit as awesome as that. And we've still got a couple of tickets left. I'm also going to put a link to this in the description to this live stream, and I'll comment that as well. There's a few spots left. They're running out. The VIP event is sold out for Friday, but there are still tickets available for Saturday. So if you can be in Dallas, Fort Worth this weekend, I would love to meet some of you guys, to put faces to these names that I see in the chats, and it would just be a great time for everybody. So check that one out. And with that, we've been going for about a half hour now. It is Sunday night. I am going to spend some time with my ladies. Don't forget, folks, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're new here. depending on what I see when I wake up tomorrow, I may decide to just live stream market open again tomorrow morning. I haven't done as many regular videos lately. I've been doing a lot more live streaming lately because the markets have just been freaking out and there's been so much turmoil and everything going on. I do look forward to the time when I can start making regular videos again more often. I'm not just going to turn into a live stream channel. Don't worry about that, guys. I am going to keep making the videos, but when things are moving so quickly, I just think I have to go and I have to do it live because it takes a lot of time to shoot a video and edit and everything else. And then by the time I get it published to you guys, the information is aged. So I think it's more important to do the live streams at times like this. All right, guys. With that, I think we're going to wrap it up. Again, like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget that notification bell and check out the Ninja Nation Speak Freely event. And until next time, live small and dream big.